DNC, you need to come get your boy Andrew Cuomo.
Coming to paperback and e-readers, ISIS Legacy. The sorority secrets of the goddess next door are revealed in this all-new ISIS series adventure. Pre-order your copy of ISIS Legacy on Amazon.com today.
Yesterday, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo launched some TV ads in an effort to restore his tarnished reputation. Now, your Andrew Cuomo was forced to resign in his third term as governor of New York when allegations of sexual harassment were confirmed by Attorney General Letitia James. Now, in the aftermath of these allegations being confirmed by the Attorney General, your Andrew Cuomo faced a lot of pressure to step down from the office of Governor of New York and eventually wound up resigning. Now, your Andrew Cuomo looks like he's trying to make some sort of political comeback, but it doesn't seem like he's being very smart about things. Now, your Andrew Cuomo's timing of these ads is something I would question because he's launching these ads to restore his reputation at a time when his political party is in some serious dire straits. President Joe Biden right now has an approval rating of 37%, and most Americans are frowning on the Democratic Party. So, your Andrew Cuomo launching ads to restore his reputation could not come at a worse time for the party because optically it makes the party look bad when a confirmed sexual harasser is out here looking to try to campaign to make a comeback. So, this really is not the best time for Andrew Cuomo to be launching these kinds of ads, but this is what happens when an individual is extremely desperate. Now, your Andrew Cuomo is possibly desperate to restore his reputation because he thinks he can make some sort of political comeback. However, that's not really possible at this time, not only due to the sexual harassment allegations that were confirmed by the Attorney General, but it is also not really possible because Andrew Cuomo's approval ratings before the whole sexual harassment campaign were at an all-time low. After 3 terms of being governor of New York, your Andrew Cuomo was actually in the same place his father, Mario Cuomo, was in back in 1994. And it was not a possibility of if he was going to lose his campaign to be the governor of New York for the 4th time, but it was a matter of when he was going to lose. So this campaign to restore his reputation wasn't going to really move the needle as related to changing things because he was already a reviled governor of New York, and especially in upstate, and outside of his support in New York City, he didn't have much support then. Now, your Andrew Cuomo probably thinks that since people loved him during the pandemic, they would possibly try to reconnect with him. However, the scandals as related to his $5 million deal for his book and him having to deal with sexual harassment during the time of the pandemic, this has soured people on your Andrew Cuomo, who clearly does not see where he is optically right now. Now, your Andrew Cuomo wants to say that it was political attacks that drove him out of office, but eventually he would have been driven out of office in the next election because his approval rating again was at an all-time low, and most New Yorkers were practically tired of him. So, and they were also tired of the mismanagement of the state of New York. So he wasn't going to win in any scenario, but he wants to try to go out here and say that it was political attacks that drove him out of office. Now, this whole claim that political attacks drove him out of office is not one that is optically good for your Andrew Cuomo, because to sit there and say you were driven out of office due to political attacks when there are confirmed cases of sexual harassment by 11 women, that is something that is not going to be able, you're not going to be able to convince most people, especially women voters. And most of your female voters, when they hear that a man is a sexual harasser and there is a mountain of evidence to be able to substantiate this presented by an attorney general, this is something that most people are going to look at this man and say, look, this guy probably did this, because if you have 11 women coming and they all have different stories but still say that there were allegations of this harassment that can be proven to be substantiated, then there's possibility that this has happened. So your Andrew Cuomo, he's looking like he wants to say, oh, it's a political attack that got him kicked out, but the whole thing was he wound up resigning because there was a possibility that these allegations were true. And even though the prosecutor's office declined to go out here and prosecute him for alleged sexual assault, it still doesn't look optically bad for a politician to and go out here and stage a comeback campaign months after you wound up resigning from office. So months after you resign from office, you then want to excuse your behavior instead of going out here and taking responsibility. That's something that makes many New Yorkers, especially women, very uncomfortable when they hear a man who has had allegations of sexual harassment confirmed against him not taking accountability for his actions and not taking any sort of responsibility for his actions. That's something that is not going to win over many New Yorkers. But your Andrew Cuomo probably believes he can play a race card as related to the Attorney General. Now, Letitia James is a black woman, and with a black woman leading the charge as related to these allegations of sexual harassment and them being substantiated by a black woman, your Andrew Cuomo probably thinks he can go out here and discredit Letitia James in the eyes of white women. Now, your Andrew Cuomo probably thinks that because a black woman was the one who led the charge against him, he can go out here and say that her report was faulty because it came from a black woman. That is the main reason why your Andrew Cuomo is staging a comeback, because he thinks that he can go out here and discredit this black woman and discredit her reputation and use that as a stepping stone to move his political career forward. Now, there's a lot of racism right there as related to this whole campaign, because here you have the white former New York governor looking to discredit the black female attorney general, and he's looking to do this because he wants to try to save his reputation as a white man. So there are a lot of white supremacist undertones here as related to the whole Cuomo comeback, and this is something many black people are not really thinking critically about. This white man looking to go out here and discredit this black woman, and also looking to disregard the white woman or the white women who went out here and made these allegations against him. So this is not, again, another good optical look for your Andrew Cuomo, and it's an even worse optical look for his political party. And that's why the head of the DNC needs to come get his boy, because your boy is going to do serious damage to the party, which is already suffering under Joe Biden's inept leadership. So you already have a president with a 37% approval rating, and to have a confirmed sexual harasser out here making efforts to try to come back on and make a campaign, this is not good for the party long term. And your Andrew Cuomo could easily be used as a poster boy for the 2022 midterms and could further lead to the red bloodbath turning into a further escalation of the red tsunami that could possibly be coming. And you would think that the party would be trying to pull this Andrew Cuomo's chain and let him know that this is not the right time for him to be staging a comeback with the party in shambles at this point. Now, your Andrew Cuomo has an $18 million war chest of campaign money that he's looking to burn through, and he's got that money burning a hole in his pocket that may wind up burning a hole in the party overall, because he's basically looking to go out here and burn this money in these kind of ads to try to just spend this money, but it's going to cost the party overall because they really do not need him out here right now with the entire party doing so badly in the polls and in the aftermath of the complete carnage of your Terry McAuliffe practically getting destroyed by Glenn Youngkin. So, excuse me, this is a really bad optical look for New York's political scene, and it's even more optically bad for the national political scene for your Andrew Cuomo to be out here putting up TV ads trying to tell people that it was political attacks that got him to leave office, but he never sits down and takes this L or takes responsibility. And that is the thing that is definitely going to turn off all of those white women voters who already see him as a sexual harasser and somebody who they don't want to deal with. And it's also going to turn off many of these black voters who are going to see him as the racist out here who is looking to try to destroy the reputation of a black female politician who was doing their job. So this is not a good situation for your Andrew Cuomo to be in, but he doesn't really see the picture from a critical thinking perspective, because if he were a critical thinker and not running on his feelings, he would understand that the best thing to do is to just lay low and take this L and then possibly stage some sort of effort to go out here and open up a law office and just finish out your career, because at 63, 64 years old, at this point, it's just time to take that L and move on, because you're at this point there's no chance of Andrew Cuomo getting back in the governor's office after 3 terms and a low approval rating, and with him having to deal with these sexual harassment confirmed claims. This is looking like a guy who was desperate to try to get back on top and after leaving in an ignominious fashion, when sometimes you just have to take an L to get a W. And it seems like your Andrew Cuomo doesn't understand the whole concept of taking an L to get a W, because sometimes you have to take that L and move on, and you take the responsibility for what you have done, and then you go out here and move on and try to rebuild your life. But maybe your Andrew Cuomo is scared of taking that L because he knows that at 64 years old, he doesn't have many prospects and he doesn't have much of a future outside of possibly opening up a law office, and that's possibly all he can do at this point. But with all of those millions that he has, maybe it is best for him to just retire from office and and do what's best for the party, because this action right here is not good for him and it's not good for his political party. Now, if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to pick up some of my books on the SJS Direct imprint, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Hay series, and the books of the Spitz-Gorilla trilogy, you can find all of those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Coming to paperback and e-readers this April, ISIS: Revenge of the Cyber Goddess. The goddess next door must take on the threat of a deadly digital diva driven to destroy the world in this action-packed all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS: Revenge of the Cyber Goddess in paperback and e-readers this April.